Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupus. Sepupus, good news. Apparently, Reformasi is still alive. Oh, but don't take it from me. Take it from someone with higher authority, such as our Prime Minister, who says that meaningful change takes time and must be pursued with wisdom and broad political support. He says, PKR has 36 MPs in Parliament, Pakatan Harapan has 82. It's not even a simple majority. Partly because of C4 saying reform is dead in the water, KJ saying 50%, Bersih giving this government a grade D, and for all we know, 88% of you saying that Reformasi is already dead. Wow. Thank you, Prime Minister. Great assurance. And you know, if you don't trust Anwar Ibrahim right now, at least you can trust Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Syed, who was kind enough to go ahead and back up Anwar on her Instagram feed, where she proudly declares, "I agree with PMX, he's certainly right in stating that reform is not a sprint but a structured, deliberate process. That said, I must firmly remind both the public and lawmakers that BHEUU JPM alongside the agencies under our purview has already delivered the Parliamentary Services Act 2025 and spearheaded more than 30 legal amendments since 2023. This is not mere rhetoric, it is concrete evidence that the Madani reform agenda is very much alive and advancing. Systemic reform is never instantaneous and for good reason. As policy makers, our duty is to ensure that every reform is not only ambitious but implementable. There is no wisdom in putting the cart before the horse. Let's be clear. The Madani government has laid the foundations for reform at a pace unmatched by previous administrations. The results speak for themselves. Do they? Anyway, for more information on the reform agenda and its implementation, the BHEUU JPM's Petari tracks this progress and will updates regularly and can be viewed at petari.bheuU.gov.my. Ignore that first comment. Thank you, Azalina-san. That was most masterful. Reform is slow, reform is reasonable. We are doing exactly the right thing. Read this website and go and understand that reform is ongoing.
Alright, let's look at her site.
I am looking at this website right now and
Nice AI generated profile picture.
it is telling me about RUU Ombudsman Pendanaan Politik 2025, Perlindungan Pemberi Maklumat, Bantuan Guaman dan Pembelaan Awam, and so on, so forth. It's all covered up in 100 different things that give you a sense of what may or may not be happening.
And yeah, like basically everything else on the website is pretty much just
useless in helping the rakyat understand that you are actually carrying out a Reformasi agenda. Sepupus, let's be real here. Do you understand? Do you appreciate? Do you care about Reformasi after having looked at that wonderful website that YB Azalina has shared to you? Do you now think to yourself that Mama, Daddy and Nurul Izzah are our God, King, Emperor, parents of this society that are designed to bring Malaysia to Persada Antarabangsa?
What do you think of Azalina Othman Syed's Reformasi proof? For me,
I'm sure that it's all very nice and beautiful. I'm sure that they are doing their very best at the moment in order to make sure that the rakyat will be benefited by the Madani government, no matter the time and the circumstance. Good job, you've worked hard. But let me be frank. Look, I'm really not here to knock any one of you right here. I'm sure that you guys are very talented people in a whole bunch of different ways at the moment. But what I will say is that it is an unquestionable fact that whether you are talented or you are not talented, you have the capacity, capability, the modern inter-ministerial collaboration, vision for the creation of a modern, competitive Malaysian society or whatever. Your message is not getting across. People still think that your Reformasi agenda is dead in the water. I mean, like, sure, like, I'm sure a lot of things happen right behind the scenes in ways that we as the rakyat may not know about, may not actually care about. Maybe we didn't read about things, maybe we weren't informed. There was no viral TikTok video, Instagram reel, catchy dancing minister here and there telling us every single thing that was happening under the sun in the Madani government. But seriously though, Sepupus, the fact that people think your Reformasi agenda is dead, is not going to go away magically just because you wave a wand around an Instagram post and declare by an edict, the law of Azalina Othman Said, that everything is alright. Because, YB, it is not. Look, I'm sure that you're doing some very good work. Very important, I'm sure they're part of the promise that you committed to the rakyat when you decided to take up your oaths of office. But the rakyat are looking at simpler things. Lots more common sense things that they don't need to look at a website to pay attention to, and they probably won't. When the rakyat think of Reformasi, they will think about how you're supposed to eliminate corruption, but somehow or another, you're out there issuing travel bans, whether by mistake or whether it's by your fault, on Fahmi Reza for criticizing Musa Aman. You're celebrating political appointments in your PKR meetings. You're not being accountable for the PKR deputy president elections, not answering questions, not engaging the public, not apologizing in any meaningful way for anything that you may have done wrong, merely coming out and just saying, oh, we are all doing it right. It is not our fault. You are the ones who are problematic because you're not doing your research. And sure, fine, like maybe the rakyat can just be not aware of certain things which they should be aware of. Maybe we can all end up doing our research to understand more about society. But as far as I understand, YB, creating a website and then asking people to just look at this is not really on my top 10 list of most effective ways of communicating with the public.
Like seriously, even I looked at it earlier and I was unable to connect it to anything related to Reformasi.
See, Reformasi is not just a set of distinct policy objectives. Reformasi is a feeling. People need to feel somehow that this nation has transformed. We need to feel that everything is now different. And every single time you see something like an immunity application or somebody going back on their word, you need to understand there's a certain psychological reaction that basically makes people think, well, I think my government is BSing me right now. I think that this is not working. But somehow, members of your government just go out and you decide that it is all happening, it's all on course. Let me go right ahead and just tell you, tenang, tenang, tenang. You know, this is actually why you're losing the war to Pakatan National at the moment, even though they are horrible opponents. You are arguably a lot more capable, but they are able to outdo you in elections and in appealing because somehow or another, your people just think to yourselves that you don't need to go out and talk to people about what you are actually successfully doing because somehow you feel that it is below you. Why? I don't understand. You have so many different opportunities right now to even start your campaigning for GE16. You can literally go out and say, Malaysian people, vote for me. Malaysian people, you are great. You're amazing. Anak Malaysia. And make them feel somehow that they are on the Reformasi train. Of course, people can say that you can feel something, but the question is whether it's really happening or not. But what you don't know, YB Azalina, is that in this new age, perception is partly reality. It shapes reality, it shapes the way we feel, and it shapes the way we vote.
Although yeah, some things are like, no matter how you perceive things, you messed up lah. Like, yeah.
And because the way we vote is so important, crucial, and determinative of what we're going to experience in modern Malaysia, what we talk about, whether we tell our kids they should work in Malaysia or otherwise, that is something that you need to care about. Not how pretty your dashboard is, but rather how well you can actually interact with the human beings that you are supposed to be serving as members of the government. It's not rocket science, it's not difficult to understand. And if you want to make people really feel that Reformasi is a lie, you are going to need to do a lot better than just going out and making an Instagram post like this. Really. Like, conduct a whole Reformasi campaign. Show people very clearly what you are doing. Demonstrate to them that yes, you're not paying attention to what the government is doing. This is what we are doing. Go ahead. If you really did some good work, I am willing to be called an idiot. I am willing to tell all these people who voted 88% to say that your Reformasi is dead, that actually maybe Reformasi is still alive and you did not kill it. But if you can't see somehow why it is that you might find it important, valuable, or desirable for you to do that, then I don't know how you're going to help yourself to even win the election in the first place, let alone help the rakyat of Malaysia, considering that you are so politically unaware to the point that you somehow have no idea how to connect to the public in a way that will secure not only their minds, but actually their hearts, because that's what you're trying to win at the end of the day. It is your prerogative as a member of parliament, as a leader of our society, as our minister of laws, to showcase, illustrate, and articulate very clearly to us as if we are idiots, and some of us may well be, I don't presume to be the brightest candle on the birthday cake, that this is what we're doing, this is the direction we're going, you are following along, make it clear, show, and do not tell. Alright, and that's all I have to say about that, and bye.